Hi. Losing my voice and definitely feeling scratchy today. So I wore my mask all day in school. Happy Monday, but it's the end of the day because I got stuck in traffic and was super late this morning. But unfortunately, there's nothing I could do about it. So I am currently going through for myself and my team on iReady and printing all of the lesson quizzes for Unit 2 just to stay ahead. Like I said before, we use our copy center here. So I'm just gonna send them to them for I don't need them back for 3 weeks, which is totally fine because that's when we start Unit 2. But as long as I have the time, I'm gonna take the time to sit here and just go through and send them so we have them when we need them. Now, we also don't use the quizzes on iReady as quizzes per se. We use them more as dipsticks, quick checks. Did the student understand a topic? I don't know why I just couldn't think of that topic or that skill for the day, for the week, whatever. So that's how we're going to use it. Otherwise, everything kind of just follows through. Once you teach it, you can, with iReady, you can send home the homework. You don't have to, you can. Our district is requiring us to send homework. As a grade level, we're doing only what needs to be reinforced at home. The thing that I don't like about homework, and this is personal preference, you can't tell that the kids did it themselves. And I've had plenty of times where homework comes back, it's not even in their handwriting. I know they're not doing it with me in class, so I'm not sure how they're doing it with someone else at home if they're not understanding it with me. It's just kind of tricky. But we are doing homework as required. We're just sending home the necessary. And so that's something I sent in a dojo message to our parents, just giving them the heads up. When we have open house, I will reiterate that to them as well. So we started our math diagnostic today, and that went really well. They got through half of it, and then we stopped them. We give them a pause and make them stop so they don't kind of overwhelm themselves and do too much. But that went really well. All of my students that were here got to the halfway part, and so we've paused them and kind of let them relax. Gave them a little bit extra snack time today to, deal with the, or make up for the lengthy diagnostic test, even though it was only half. So they got that, so that was nice. And then for reading, we went ahead and continued on with our benchmark. It's the day 7 for benchmark today, so we were discussing, continuing our discussion about author's purpose and information, filling in our KWL chart. But today what I did was I put them in small groups with a turn and talk, and they were filling out their KWL chart. So each table had a different section of the informative book that we were reading. It's just a book I pulled from my library. It's what's inside our computers. And so each table had a different section so that way we were all doing the same thing and we could learn from each other, hear from each other. So what I did was I put them in their table groups and I had them do the K, what they already know, the W, what they want to know, 2 for each. And then I brought them all back, whole group. I read the rest of the book on, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes on time. And then we discussed the book, what we remembered from the book, and then I sent them back to their tables so they could continue filling out the KWL chart, now with the 2 things for what they learned. I had one table that could only get to 1 thing. I had one table that didn't know anything about it before we started, which is fine. So what we did was we talked about it all together. I put it up on the board so they could see it. They didn't have to rewrite it or add to it if it wasn't their table, but at least we were all doing little sections, so we all had a part. We all played a part in the whole group discussion. It went very well. I have a couple friends who are very quiet and not really wanting to share and participate, but working in the small groups is really kind of helping pull them out of their shell a little, which is really nice to see, especially since it's only the beginning of the 3rd week of school. But I'm really happy about that. But on the flip side, I want them to be talking more and giving more input. So when we start our small groups, that's something that I'm going to focus on first before I even start curriculum with them. I'm just going to ask them some basic questions, all about me questions kind of thing, just to have them get used to answering questions and talking out loud and giving their input when, we're having conversation. I'm hoping that that will help pull them out of their shell a little bit more and a little bit more quickly. Otherwise, they are still learning from others, even though they're not necessarily speaking every time. They're still listening, which is really nice. They are, however, I'm noticing, speaking during our word work, which is right now, it's still review, it's long vowel sounds. But it's long vowel sounds with different patterns. For example, today was long I, but it's long I spelled with just an I, long I-E, long I with a Y, long I-I-G-H. So they had to come up with words in their turn and talk and bring them back to our word bank, and then we made our chart. On the flip side of kind of everything, I am still here. It's later than I expected to be here, but I had a really hard morning, stuck in traffic for a very long time, so that was not fun. So I am kind of going ahead and getting the rest of the things together that I need, going back up to my classroom and getting the things together to come back down here. But I wanted to make sure I had everything, and now my printer's not printing. Didn't I have this problem when I was like doing pre-planning and classroom setup stuff? I don't know what's happening, but that's okay. I'm writing myself a list. Got my big to-do list, got my small sticky notes. So I'm writing myself a list of things that I will need to print myself and not, unfortunately, be able to use the copy center, because the copy center takes 2 days to come back. If I need something for Thursday, it's Monday and I can't print it, what am I gonna do? So I'm gonna see how that works out. And in the meantime, I will just use the online portion and we will just write it out as we have to, or whole group it, small group it, turn and talk, and then come back whole group, and we'll just keep a running log of things if I can't get this to print. Technology. Overall, today went really well. Very happy with the math diagnostic. We got halfway done. Very happy with the benchmark that we got done. We didn't miss any parts today, which was awesome. My kids are really doing very well with it, so I'm super proud of them for that. I am getting out of here. I have to go pick up my son and hopefully be here on time tomorrow. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. I have this weird cold thing going on, so this is like really awful. I'm in my room by myself, so like, hi, I can see you real, but this is crazy. It's only week 3 and I'm already getting these illnesses. This is so bad. So we'll see. Good morning. So we'll see how it goes. But today is gonna be great. We have open house and parents should be coming. I'm not back in my room, but I would still like if they came and I can talk to them about what's going on. And some already had questions about homework, and homework is given, you know, when necessary, but more for review of skills than every day, because again, can't really tell who's doing it sometimes, so there's that. Not sure about when I'm going back to my room, so we're gonna start making this room work more for me, for them. I'm gonna start with their small group station, so I'll set out the tables where I want them to be, where I want them to go, and then I'll probably bring down some stuff from my room so we could really start diving in, because now it's week 3 and I don't want to just keep like pushing it off like, oh, we'll be back up there soon, or maybe soon. Like, we're gonna start making this a little bit more homey, so we'll just get it done and see how it goes. Math today, finishing our diagnostic for iReady, starting rounding if we have time. If not, we'll start that lesson tomorrow. Reading, we're doing long U, and then that's for our word work. For our writing, we're focusing on sharing, so pick one, share, and we did a turn and talk about how to share yesterday, so today we're going to practice sharing and tweaking, like going through the writing process, and we'll see how it goes. Here we are, end of the day. Just separating some running records I'm going to be starting with my kids from benchmark. We have DIBELS scores. We are not required to do GRA testing because it does not align with benchmark, which is fine. But we don't really have a correlation to Lexile levels from DIBELS. If anybody knows how to do that, or if there's an option, write that in the comments below. But in the meantime, I have a couple running records I'm going to do. This is the 3rd grade level. I just started with the basic retell, the story, read the passage and retell. I'm just gonna have them do that. If they pass it, then I'll go to the next one. If they don't, then I can go down to grade 2 and see if they pass that one, and then follow suit with that same progression downward. I can also progress upward. I have access with our online benchmark. We have access to all the grades, which is really nice because everything is just at your fingertips. So I'm gonna start those so I can start my small groups next week. So I want to get this started and done this week. We are honing in and focusing in on our workstations with benchmark. So your reading workstation, your computer, your writing, your word work. We are focusing in on those this week. We're practicing them each day. And so by Friday, I want to have them in those 4 stations in their small groups based on Dibbles and the running records. So I'm hoping I can get them done in the next 2 days. If not, it's fine. I'll do 3 groups. I'll do, just based on Dibbles for now, and then work with their running records after. But I'm also in the process of making a spreadsheet, a Google sheet. I use Google for everything. It's just so much easier. Excuse me. So I'm in the process of making that spreadsheet with their Dibbles scores, their last year GRA scores, so we can actually see the Dibbles from last year and the GRAs from last year and kind of have that jumping off point. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I made math groups. We finished our iReady diagnostic today. So I made math groups based on where they leveled overall grade level, and I also put the groups based on where they leveled with numbers and operations, algebraic thinking, measurement data, and geometry. I knew I was going to do that because when we get into those different parts of our units with iReady, the groups are going to be fluid, right? So if somebody's on kindergarten for geometry, doesn't necessarily mean they're on kindergarten level for numbers and operations. Or if somebody's on 3rd grade level in geometry, doesn't necessarily mean that they don't need the extension and they're past, or the numbers and operations, or maybe they are below, working in 2nd grade level right now, which it's okay in the beginning of the year, just starting point. You really can only go up from where they are. So it's okay to have them kind of all over the place, or even if they are lower. Sometimes, especially in 3rd grade, we do a lot of first testing. So the SBAC in 3rd grade is the first time they see it. So that's a little tricky. And the scores are never actually great because they've never taken that state test. They've never been in that environment, in that testing environment. So there's that. But we work through it. And like I said, we have our data meetings every day 7. So we bounce off of that and we kind of go back and forth with all the information. So I'm going to go ahead and make those spreadsheets, make those groups, so hopefully by next week I can be in full group mode for math and for reading. Let's see.